Hi, Room 111. This week's reading is Henry's Pirate Surprise, written by Justin C.H. Birch, illustrated by Helen Poole. Remember, at the end of this reading, I'll be sharing with you your vocabulary words and all of the assignments associated with this reading. All right? Ready to read? Let's go. Henry's Uncle Richard was a toy maker and lived above his shop. Henry loved to visit because his uncle would always surprise him with new toys. Then he would ask Henry to play with them over the weekend. "You are my chief toy tester," his uncle would say. "It's a very important job." This time his uncle had a special surprise for him. On a large table stood an enormous wooden ship. "Wow, a pirate ship!" exclaimed Henry. "It's amazing. This is the Stinking Rose, the finest pirate galleon to sail the 7 seas. But this is not the surprise," said his uncle. "Really? But it's fabulous. What could possibly be more surprising than this?" asked Henry. Beep. "I think that honor is mine," said a voice from inside the ship. "The ship can talk!" Henry's mouth fell wide open. "The ship doesn't talk," his uncle started to explain, but then a door opened on the deck and a tiny pirate captain walked into view, took off his hat, bowed to Henry and said, "Captain Eightpiece at your service." Henry couldn't believe his eyes. "The best toy you have ever made, Uncle Richard." "Henry, Captain Eightpiece is real. So is the rest of his crew," Uncle Richard whispered. "Absolutely," cried Captain Eightpiece. "My crew and I have been looking for a good ship. Fortunately, we came to your uncle's shop and found this wonderful vessel. We sail tomorrow." Beep. "But you can't be real. You're only 6 inches high," exclaimed Henry. 6.5, actually. Captain AP stood tall. "Well, if I'm not real, then you won't be able to feel this, will you?" He took out his cutlass, marched over to Henry, and poked him in the hand. "Ouch!" shouted Henry. "He did that to me too," smiled Henry's uncle. "Then he paid me for the ship with gold coins. We're going to help Captain Eightpiece and his crew launch the ship tomorrow. Let me introduce you to my crew, dear boy," said the captain. "Men, on deck now!" he roared. Four tiny men appeared on the deck of the ship. Beep. "This is Barney Call, the first mate. He is second in command. And Limpy Pitt, the bosun. He makes sure all the crew members do their jobs properly. Periwinkle is the second mate and is in charge of navigation. And finally, Razor Clam, the helmsman. He mans the helm, which means he steers the ship." Beep. Captain Eightpiece looked up at Henry. "We could do with a cabin boy, but unfortunately you're a bit, big. However, we've got lots of jobs to do if you want to help. That'd be nice." So Henry scrubbed the deck with a toothbrush. He stacked marbles that could be fired in the cannon. He put the pirate flag on top of the mast. And he filled matchboxes with flour, cereal, and other foods to get ready for the long journey. Beep. Henry stayed with the pirate crew until bedtime. The crew told him about their adventures of sailing the high seas, battling scary monsters, and finding treasure. He could have listened to them all night. When Uncle Richard told him it was time for bed, Henry reluctantly bid the pirates good night and promised to help them launch the stinking rose in the river in the morning. Then he went up to bed and was asleep in minutes. Beep. A noise downstairs woke Henry in the middle of the night. He heard a door squeak and then the sound of muffled voices. Somebody was breaking into the toy shop. Henry crept out of bed and tiptoed out of his room and across the corridor to his uncle's room. Then a voice from downstairs drifted up to Henry. Blimey, Dave, look at that pirate ship. That'll fetch a pretty penny. Must steal that and get out of here quickly. Henry knew he needed to scare the burglars away. He was desperately trying to think of a plan when he felt something run up his pajama pant leg and along his arm. And then he heard a voice whisper in his ear. Trying to figure out how to catch the burglars, are you? Good man. Captain 8P swung from Henry's ear onto his nose and looked him in the eyes. Limpy, Barney, and Perry are hiding in the ship, ready to surprise them. Razors underneath the table, up to no good, I'd imagine. What's your plan? Whispered Henry. We're pirates, my boy. We'll fight them. And with that, Captain Apies jumped off Henry's nose and ran down his arm and then onto the floor, where he disappeared into the darkness. Beep.